John and Mary lived in a building close to the port. But then after a while, because of his missionary work, John was in trouble. Well, he and Paul and later they made themselves, well, lots of enemies over here. So therefore, John was sent to exile. And he was banned to a little Greek island called Patmos, on which he started writing the book of Revelation. Now, while John was away in Patmos, Mary was left behind here in Ephesus. Soon it became too dangerous to live in the city, and so the early Christians started searching for a safer place, and they chose this place here, Mount Kusadasi. Almost at the top, deep inside the forest, a little house was constructed. That's the place which you're going to see now. By the way, this was all forest. 4 years ago we had a terrible, terrible forest fire over here, and the whole area was destroyed. Therefore it's very barren at the moment. But this used to be forest, only 4 years ago. So inside that forest, a little stone house was constructed. There she started living. How long? Please don't ask me. I can't tell you whether she was here for a few months or maybe for a few years, and I can't tell you whether she died here or not because we have no such information. Later when we're at the shrine, you're going to see many other groups and you're going to hear many other guides, and I have a few colleagues who love to say that this is the place where she passed away. Actually, we don't know anything like that. This is that's the way they want to believe. But there is no such information. And this is actually all I can tell you about her. Then she disappears. But we know a little bit more about John. When the emperor died, who had sent him to exile, John was pardoned, and he was allowed to come back to Ephesus, which he did. And he completed writing the book of Revelation over here. And then John continued with his missionary work until the end of his life. And he died naturally. He was the only apostle who was not murdered or executed. He passed away as a very, very old gentleman, peacefully. And he's buried in Ephesus. A church was built upon his tomb, and that's the Church of St. John, which we're going to visit today before lunch.
Wow.
What's this turn?
Was Sie hier sehen, das ist eine Zisterne gewesen fürs Wasser, denn die Mutter Maria hat ja hier nicht alleine gewohnt und das war eine Wasseranlage. Später hat man das gleich.
If not, if the congregation is small, they take them into the chapel, or if there's a large congregation, then they use one of the monasteries. And I wish that I had the chances of one of the monasteries over that. It's built in the
House of Mary.
There's no access for this, unfortunately.
We've just been through the House of Mary. This is a photo outside which shows what the altar inside looks like. There are springs coming down from the mountain which are considered possibly holy water with curative powers blessed by Mary. I've gotten a bottle of water from the fountain. And this wall is filled with papers where people have made wishes or prayers that they're hoping to be answered.
The Church of St. John, which is one of the very important churches in Turkey. Unfortunately, the building is not active anymore. But it's a very important building because this is the place where John the Apostle is buried. Actually, the altar of this church was placed upon the burial chamber. Church of St. John and the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul were built exactly in the same years, 532, 537. The architects are the same, Isidoro and Antemius, two gentlemen. Yeah? And of course, the couple granting the money, that was the same emperor, Justinian I, and his wife Theodora. Both churches are basilicas, but the one in Istanbul is a classical basilica, whereas this one here is in the shape of a cross. You can see that clearly over here. Yeah. We're going to enter the church here. We're going to walk towards the burial chamber. From there, we're going to turn left, and we're going to see the baptistry of the church. And then we're going to leave the Imam, or the Muezzin. The Muezzin is the gentleman who's announcing the prayer time, that he is still climbing up those 180,000 stairs.
Former minaret. The entrance corridor, and we're walking now into the nave of the church. The location of the altar from the Christian era.
It's a secular country. So if you're a Jew or if you're a Christian, if you believe, if you don't believe in anything, everything is guaranteed. Thank you very much. Yes.
Tomb of St. John with the choir behind it. This is where the altar was in the early church. The area down in the center is where the holy books would have been. Entrance to the baptistry.
As an entrance to exit, and from niche to niche you have exactly the same shape. And then in the center you have the baptismal pool. Yeah. And according to what I've read, well, in the beginning there was only the baptism of adults. Children, the baptism of children, that was introduced much later. And men and women were baptized separately. They were wearing those long white gowns. Before they went into the baptismal pool, they were standing on that side, so they had turned automatically the back to the west end, so they were looking into the eastern direction. That's where the light is born, where Christ is born. And then they went down the 3 steps, which are as always similar in the Holy Trinity, of course, yeah. And then they went into the water, met the Baptists who were standing there already, and then they immersed totally in the water. There was total immersion, yeah. And then they went out again facing the eastern direction.
This is a model of what the St. John church looked like originally. This is the actual ruins of the Church of St. John from the hill overlooking.
Not to expect a complete
This
temple.
pillar is the remains
Yes,
of the
pillar,
Temple
but
of
actually there are
Artemis.
1.5 pillars. There's a one shorter one behind it over there. And the reason why I was able to tell you the temple was 400 feet long, 160 feet wide, the foundation is still there. So therefore we know the size of the temple. But it's not visible from over here. Actually, look, the temple was starting more or less there where the pillars are, and they were ending there on the right-hand side where the eucalyptus trees are, the big trees over there on the right-hand side. That was the area covered by the temple. And actually, you know that this temple was standing at the heart of the second city, and here, a few years ago, the Austrians started drilling, and deep in the soil, they found the remains of the second city, and well, I have a friend who's actually working here in the restoration team, and she told me that they're preparing for excavation. So the next time when you come back, but of course a few years have to pass.